Welcome in on this Wednesday morning, Thanksgiving Eve. Janae Hancock here with Bill Hurrelbrink. Bill, how's it going?
It is a Wednesday in Kansas City.
Yeah.
And especially a nice one since it's bright and sunny outside,
It
albeit
is.
a little bit cold. Warren Sears is going to have our forecast coming up in just a little bit, but you'll notice that cold when you step out. Like you said, it's the day before Thanksgiving, so as we look over the Country Club Plaza, it's really I'm finally starting to get out of my bah humbug and into the holiday spirit
love
in
it.
Kansas City.
I've been there since November 1st, so I'm so happy to have you
What,
here.
the bah humbugs?
to join me. No, I've been in the holiday spirit
Already.
Since November 1st. Actually, October 31st. We'll throw that out there.
Okay.
So we do have a lot of news headlines to
Yeah, we
get to.
do.
So we do want to start off with what you need to know before you head out the door. Maybe you're at work right now. So after 3 months, prosecutors finally filed charges against two people connected to a deadly shooting in a downtown Kansas City parking lot. Jalen Nelson and Colton Schultz face assault charges after a fight that left 2 people dead and 3 others hurt near the T-Mobile Center. Court records show that Nelson repeatedly beat one victim before that person was later shot and killed. Kansas City Councilman Crispin Reyes says that the community needs to step up to prevent more violence.
We need the parents of some of these folks to be involved and know where their kids are and make sure that they're not engaged in the kind of activity that can escalate to violence.
Now, Kansas City police have not yet responded to requests for updates on the investigation.
Well, the wheels of justice turn slowly, and justice will be delayed for a Lee Summit police officer who was shot in the line of duty. Thomas Tolbert's trial for shooting Officer Jared Tenbrook multiple times back in June has been pushed now all the way to October of 2026. That trial was supposed to start on Monday. Tolbert faces first-degree assault charges and 4 other crimes. The court plans to call up to 100 potential jurors for this case.
Clay County deputies can now train with cutting-edge technology that puts them ahead of the game. The sheriff's office just opened an $8 million training center in Kearney, complete with virtual reality scenarios and a 10-lane indoor shooting range. The sheriff says today's officers face incredible pressure to perform perfectly in split-second situations.
You know, there are a lot of expectations that the public has on law enforcement. Reality is 24 hours is so insignificant in the amount of expectation that the public has for us in order to do our job.
Okay, so the center also features gym equipment that gets officers' heart rates up to 140 beats per minute before they tackle decision-making scenarios simulating real-world stress conditions.
Well, cyber attacks continue to plague cities around our town. City services in Leavenworth, Kansas, have been crippled by a cyber attack with no answer for when those systems will be restored. This happened last week, and it knocked out several of the systems that the city uses to conduct business, including invoice payment, building permits, and city job applications. Those last two, if you have business to deal with the city for those, you're asked to go see them in person, drop off at City Hall until their issue is resolved. Now, city officials say that there's no evidence that any personal data was stolen, but their investigation does continue.
Chiefs fans, the time is almost officially here. You will be able to finally bet on your team in Missouri starting on Monday. Sports betting launches statewide December 1st after voters approved it just last year. All 13 casinos will open sports books, with Ameristar Casino in Kansas City creating a high-tech betting paradise complete with giant LED screens. You just saw that there on your screen, and self-service kiosks. No more trips to Kansas just to place a wager, Bill.
So I had to see all the folks go at K5 and 435 every Sunday morning when I'm going to do my grocery pickup. I got to wave at all of them placing their bets there. But now, no, after December 1st, you'll be able to do that in Missouri. And then those really nice places maybe to go do those bets there at the casinos. But with Missouri getting ready for its first sports bet on Monday, the honor of making that first wager is going to go to Royals Hall of Famer Alex Gordon. He'll make the ceremonial wager at the Ameristar Casino on Monday. Now, it's not clear what that first bet will be. Maybe someone hitting a tying home run in the top of the 9th inning of the World Series.
We'll just have to wait and see.
That was flashback to 2015.
Okay. Thank you for that.
You were just a middle schooler back then.
Oh, whatever.
Anyway, it's worth noting, by the way, that Bobby Witt Jr. has the second best odds to win the American League MVP next season. So maybe that's something along the lines that he would bet on. Even though I would like to see the Royals back in the World Series, it's not something I'm sure would be a for sure bet for Mr. Gordon there if he's making the inaugural wager in Missouri.
And Missouri will have one fewer sportsbook option on December 1st. Underdog no longer appears on the Gaming Commission's licensed mobile operators list as of this morning. The Royals partner has not commented on missing next week's launch. And really, this is just the beginning of our sports betting, the launch there on Monday, just the beginning of our coverage. So
yeah,
we'll be
we
sure
have
to bring
a
you more.
big day of coverage coming up for you on Monday. We're going to be all over the city covering this again. From top to bottom, as again, something else is going to be opening and legal for folks in the state of Missouri. Well, let's skip ahead here a couple of days to Black Friday. Missouri residents may receive a Republican National Committee text warning that Black Friday shoppers need to beware about petitioners at shopping centers. Now, while petition locations remain unclear, we want you to be prepared to make informed decisions. Now, what all this is about, KCTV5's Nathan Brennan is joining us from the plaza with what you should know.
Good morning to our friends in Missouri. I'm Nathan Brennan at the Country Club Plaza. You might be waking up this morning to a Missouri alert text message. This was a text message sent out from the Republican National Committee yesterday and here early this morning, warning that there will be people collecting signatures during Black Friday shopping. Now, this isn't the first time the Republican National Committee has sent out a text message like this, and this all comes as there are many people collecting those signatures, trying to reverse the decision to change Missouri's congressional maps. There are several groups that are collecting those signatures to try and get this sent to a vote. Now, just to be on the lookout, you might see some of these booths and tables of people collecting signatures at many locations across the metro. If you want to learn just a little bit more about this story and kind of some of those intricate details, just head to our website, kctv5.com.
Again, that was KCTV5's Nathan Brennan reporting from the plaza. Now, some families need extra help this holiday season. 3 Kansas City organizations partnered to provide traditional foods for families in need this year. The Guadalupe Center's Mattie Rhodes Center and the El Centro launched the collaborative campaign. KCTV5's Gabby Luma tells us more about this unique collaboration.
KCTV5's Gabby Luma. 3 organizations are collaborating this holiday season to help feed families. The Guadalupe Centers, Mattie Rhodes Centers, and El Centro are helping families on both sides of the state line in Kansas City, Missouri, but also KCK. Any families in the community needing a Thanksgiving meal and also wanting more culturally relevant food for them can come to any of these Guadalupe centers to get that food. All of those addresses, locations can be found on this story on your KCTV5 app.
Well, a beloved bookstore in Overland Park is set to reopen on Friday after a fire forced it to close 3 months ago. Monstero's Books on 79th and Floyd combines books and plants, and its owner says community support has helped her rebuild that neighborhood gathering spot.
A Lawrence tradition won't be happening this year, unfortunately, due to a horse virus. The old-fashioned Christmas parade was set to march down Mass Street next Saturday, but the 32nd annual event has officially been canceled. Morgan Rydell spoke with disappointed residents and businesses about the sudden change.
In the past, the parade has brought hundreds to thousands out in downtown.
It's going to be missed. The hundreds of folks that actually bring horses down here, their families.
Nick Guffey is one of the owners of the toy store. They've been around longer than the parade itself, and they have a front row seat to the action.
We are one of the best places to come to watch the parade because you can come to our second floor and watch from the windows, and you got a bathroom right next to you.
Asking anyone on the street today, they had their own memories.
We raised our kids here. We have a 13-year-old and a 15-year-old from a young age. We used to come to the Christmas parade every year, and it was made a lot of good memories here.
Parade leaders say they canceled the event at the advice of experts, limiting travel and gatherings because of a deadly horse virus. While it means missing out on memories and customers, it was hard to find someone that disagreed with the move.
I think it's probably the right thing to do, and sadly we don't experience the parade, but if you feel like you're saving the life of a horse, I think it's probably the right move to do.
When I come in the morning at 6 a.m., we'll see the entire block filled from one end to the other with cars that morning, and we're not going to see that this year. So that's definitely a moment to consider and pause on.
A pause to look back on memories and maybe even find some new ones.
We're not going to have the Christmas parade, but we are going to have a magical downtown experience. All the lights are going to be going. It's after Thanksgiving. All the vibes are good. Families in town. We're ready for you.
Again, that was Morgan Rydell reporting. Now, the virus doesn't affect humans, but it has also forced rodeos in Kansas and Oklahoma to cancel. And I wonder why they couldn't just do the parade without the horses.
I know. It's a whole thing.
Anyway.
I'm sure a lot of people are feeling that same exact way, Bill.
But he said the vibes are good, so, it doesn't matter.
That's all that.
All right, let's move on to newer forms of transportation. How about this? MoDOT telling us they are making big strides towards improving I-70 into Kansas City. The agency releasing an update recapping this year's progress.
This phase of construction involves us working here at Benton Curve and also working at 23rd Street, building the pedestrian bridge at 25th Street, and then also work at the Jackson Curve.
Well, now there is a lot of work coming in 2026 from MoDOT, including reconstructing bridges at 27th Street, Cleveland Avenue, and Lister Avenue. They also plan to keep 3 lanes open each direction during the FIFA World Cup. And, of course, this is a bigger project that's going to expand I-70 between Kansas City and St. Louis.
A lot of things happening before the World Cup.
No, that one's going to last through the World Cup. But, yeah, at least they'll have the 3 lanes open, or else that could be pandemonium trying to get out to those matches. We went to the Messi Sporting Kansas City match back then, and it usually takes me about 30 minutes to get to Arrowhead from my home in Kansas City, Kansas. We were on the road for almost 2 hours trying to get to see that soccer game.
Gosh.
So I can only imagine what it's going to be like when the World Cup comes to town, which, by the way, I did just get my rejection email from FIFA again on the round to be able to buy tickets. So I've entered
Which, by the way, let me throw that
2 or 3 times, and FIFA has rejected my opportunity to buy tickets for the
FIFA,
last
if
2
you
or
are
3
hearing
rounds.
this, please do not reject.
I'm trying to buy tickets,
He's trying
man.
to get in there. All righty. Well, that'll do it for your news headlines. Again, taking another live look over the Country Club Plaza. I've been watching a lot of cars make their way past the Country Club Plaza
Trying to get
today.
their primo parking spots ahead of tomorrow night's lighting ceremony.
Oh, that's smart to park your car there. But also, if you were getting out just to maybe get a head start on some Black Friday shopping, some holiday shopping, today might be the perfect day to do that. We do have First Warn 5 meteorologist Warren Sears coming your way with a look at your forecast after the break.
Hi, everybody. I'm First Warn 5 meteorologist Warren Sears. Happy Wednesday, almost to that Thanksgiving holiday. Definitely a cold start to the morning out there. Big changes even from just this time yesterday. But the sun is out today. That will definitely help us out a bit. And we are expecting clear skies, quiet conditions out there across the board, both Wednesday and Thursday. So if you are regionally traveling by road today or maybe have a last-minute flight, no issues, at least in terms of weather here locally in Kansas and Missouri. Now, later this week might be a bit of a different story, as we do have the opportunity for our first big winter system of the season that will bring you much colder air, the potential for rain, snow, wintry mix, and some of you even the potential for some wet snow that does accumulate. So let's get to all of that here over the next few minutes. We'll also talk about your Thanksgiving holiday forecast from the morning all the way to later in the evening. No travel concerns today, as I mentioned. Cooler, though, definitely only lower 40s by this afternoon, so that's shy of where we should be this time of the year. But it's dry today and dry Thanksgiving. Now, this weekend, First Warn is in place starting Friday late and lasting through all of Saturday. We did take the First Warn off of Sunday as we start to hone in on the time frame a little bit better, but the impacts likely Friday night and all of Saturday out there for traveling. So let me show you, as we are now about almost 10:20 on this Wednesday morning. The latest data that's coming in this morning does indicate, again, mainly dry conditions Wednesday, today, and also Thursday. A couple of showers, a flurry maybe out in western Kansas this evening, but that does not touch the KCTV coverage area. Thursday, mostly dry, mostly sunny, I should say, and Friday, mostly dry. Friday will have increasing cloud coverage out ahead of the next storm system, but I do still think even into the heart of the late afternoon, early evening time frame, we're still mostly dry. It's not until later after sunset, probably a little bit closer to 9 p.m. to midnight, that we'll start to see this system materialize from the west. The air is real dry at first, so it's going to take a little while for the air to saturate and for any sort of precipitation to make it to the ground. So probably not seeing a whole lot until closer to midnight, Friday night and into your Saturday morning. So this is a big storm. Watch this materialize here. This is going to cover 10 states at least. I mean, there's a massive Midwest system that forms basically overhead Friday night and Saturday. Now, with the temperatures straddling the freezing mark closer to Kansas City, that poses quite the fun forecast with precipitation type. That also poses a much more consistent snow forecast to the north and rain forecast to the south, but we're sandwiched right on that line. So where you see that pink line, that's the rain-snow mix, that wintry mix line where temperatures hover right around the freezing point. Sometimes what happens a couple of 1,000 feet above us, a degree or two matters also, but really what happens at the surface temperature-wise is what we get as far as precipitation-wise. So later Friday night and into Saturday morning, we should be just warm enough. With the latest trends, we should be just warm enough for all rain here in Kansas City, in eastern Kansas and western Missouri. Now, you look up across northern Missouri and northeastern Missouri, they are likely just a few degrees cooler, and that means I think more snow will fall up in that vicinity than it will here in Kansas City. That's the latest trend right now. It doesn't take much. Again, if this pulls a couple of degrees of colder air in, this could be more snow. If this tends to be a little bit warmer, this could be more rain for northern Missouri. So it is just now Wednesday. This is, again, Friday night and into Saturday, but consistently have seen more snow across northern and northeastern Missouri and Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois than here in Kansas and western Missouri. So regardless, we'll have many hours of rain or maybe some snowflakes mixed in, but nothing that would be sticking until later in the day on Saturday. There is a shot of cold air on the back side of this system. We've been watching this for a few days now. There is a rapid cooling that goes on sometime Saturday afternoon and evening. That should take us from above freezing to then below freezing, and that should give you some sort of wintry precipitation. That should give you a couple of hours, I think, as of now, a couple of hours of wet snow. But does it stick? The ground's pretty warm. The ground will be wet from rain. and it will take a while to cool that surface level. So I think that this wet snow will probably be falling for a little while, but mainly melting on contact. There's a little window there late Saturday evening that maybe we get some minor accumulations here closer to Kansas City. Now, the farther north you live, as I mentioned, you have more snow out of this system, I think, than everyone else. So that means that you will have some accumulations, at least on your grassy surfaces. The roadways probably will be able to cool enough to have it on the roads too. But you saw here, let me just throttle it back, just how large this system is. So I know I've had so many travel questions on Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Chicago, St. Louis, and all of those places will be impacted from this system, whether it's more snow to the north or just a wintry mix, heavy rain. It all is impactful. If you have flights out of O'Hare on Saturday, that looks to be a mess. St. Louis could be a mess. Minneapolis, Delta Hub there could be a mess. So prepare for Saturday travel to be impacted at this time. And because this is such a large storm system, even shifts north and south will be getting something from it. Now, as far as winter travel impacts, who could get the most snow, maybe even a little bit of sleet mixed in? I would say the likely odds are across northeast Missouri, Iowa, Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota. Possible, though, and leaning on the toward likely side, some sort of winter impacts across northern Missouri, northwest Missouri, Omaha, eastern Nebraska, and maybe near Kansas City, but unlikely the farther south that you travel. So this is just one of our computers' just take on this system, and I don't want you to get too married to these numbers, but I do want you to see here, there'll be a very steep cutoff between snow and who has the wintry mix rain. And so I think that our northern coverage area, we're talking up into the Bethany, Chillicothe, Livingston County, Saline County, Lynn County on the Missouri side, you'll have the better chance for measurements and accumulations with this system. And then as you bleed closer to Kansas City, the uncertainty really climbs. So St. Joe, Cameron, Richmond, Odessa, Warrensburg, you're very iffy on if this snow would stick for you, if how much you get to measure up. And then Kansas City, again, I'm also not super concerned at this time with big totals, but a dusting is possible, very much possible, to maybe an inch on the high end if we got this to turn over quicker. This is coincidentally enough on average with our first snowfall, average first snowfall in Kansas City, which is 11/28. And today is the 26th. So that means Saturday would be the 29th and would be very close to the average for snow. So how it's looking, the most reasonable solution here and the most likely scenario during the day, pretty steady rain mixing in with some bursts of snow at times into the afternoon and evening. And later in the evening would be your window for some accumulation. Again, maybe a dusting to an inch if we could even get it to stick. If this trend's a little warmer, this is going to stay all rain. If this trend's a little bit cooler, then we'll have more windows and more hours of snow. So the timing confidence has been really high. The precipitation type, as you saw there, not as confident in, and that will probably be all the way up until the event. Impacts, though, we do expect to have travel concerns on Saturday, regardless if it's rain, wintry mix, or snow. Right now, though, nothing to worry about. 34 degrees is the current temperature at the airport. As you work through the area today, we do expect 42 out there this afternoon. Into your morning on Thursday, take any of you turkey trotters will want an extra layer or two under all of your turkey trot gear because it is going to be chilly in the 20s, only warming to about 37 by lunchtime. By the afternoon, low 40s, forecast high temperature of 43 degrees here in Kansas City. Again, mainly sunny and looks like a pretty solid day. Now on Sunday, I mentioned we got to take the first warn away. However, that is going to pull much colder air into the region. So we expect high temperatures to be near 40 both Friday and Saturday, but only 27 on your Sunday, 18 out the door Monday morning to start the new week after a long weekend, 28 on Monday, watching the opportunity for a few snow showers there, and 34 on your Tuesday. That is a look at your late morning weather update right before the holiday weekend. I hope you all have safe travels. If you're about to head out, I hope you get to enjoy a lot of good food and spend some time with friends or family or whoever you want to spend time with on your Thanksgiving holiday. Also, I hope that you travel safe home. We'll have updates for you around the clock. We have meteorologists here on Thanksgiving Day. We have meteorologists here on Friday, and of course the weekend ahead as well. So we have later on today, Mike and Melissa and Luke will be here tomorrow. I know Stevie Stevenson is here in the morning. So again, we'll keep you covered with all of the different updates and new data that when it comes in. But that is all I have for you as of now. Thanks for joining me here, and we will see you here in just a second. We'll take a quick break, and Bill will be back here shortly. I lied. Janae is back here shortly.
Welcome back into KCTV5 Plus. The time right now is 10:32. Tomorrow, with Patrick Mahomes making his first professional start in Dallas and millions watching nationwide, the Dallas Cowboys and the Salvation Army are coming together once again at halftime to kick off the 135th Red Kettle campaign. So I sat down with Commissioner Merle Hartwell and the owner and president of the Cowboys, Jerry Jones, and the co-owner, his daughter, Charlotte Jones, to talk about how you can help families in need this holiday season. Good morning. So nice to see you all here today. I know we are going to be facing off tomorrow, the Chiefs and the Cowboys, a huge game. So let's jump straight into it. Commissioner, I want to start off with you. Can you explain exactly what the Red Kettle campaign is and how it has evolved over the years?
Well, the Red Kettle campaign has been going on for 135 years. And of course, we are very thankful for the partnership that we've had these last 29 years with the Cowboys and the Jones family. That has been such a wonderful support to us. And because of that effort, we've been able to get that message across the country and raise over $3 billion to help people throughout the United States.
And Jerry, I want to bring you in as well. First of all, so nice to meet you. So nice to see you here today. Why was it so important for the Cowboys to continue this 29-year partnership?
You know, when I first got into the NFL with the Dallas Cowboys, the biggest helping hand I got was Lamar Hunt, who was one of the founders of the NFL and certainly founders of the Chiefs. Now, his family has gone on and had tremendous success there for a lot of great NFL Chief fans up there. I can't tell you what a privilege it is when you add all that up to be playing here tomorrow in front of this nation and have that visibility support the National Red Kettle campaign kickoff. Now, the reason for that is they are the most efficient team that either the Chiefs or the Cowboys could ever be on. You're talking about pros. They know how to take a dollar, they use less of it for overhead, and they can put it in the hands of the people that need it the most. They can put shoes on people while committee meetings are going on how to do it. They are pros and know how to do it. They inspire us as a team. I'm glad the Chiefs and Chiefs fans are going to be a part of our support of the National Red Kettle campaign tomorrow.
And of course, I have to ask you this. With Patrick Mahomes, tomorrow is actually his first professional start in Dallas, adding to that extra national attention. How are you all leveraging that spotlight to really amplify this campaign this year?
Well, anytime that I can get the Chiefs, to begin with, the Chiefs are no strangers in Dallas, Texas, because of the Hunt family, and they are well known and well respected. My first year to ever play the Chiefs, I gave Lamar my suite, the owner's suite, and I moved into another suite while we played him here that day. That's what I thought of him. Now, I hope that'll make you a little sweeter to us tomorrow and maybe give us a chance to come out of this thing. But it's a great privilege to be doing this in front of a national audience tomorrow.
Oh, I love it. Charlotte, I want to bring you in as well. First of all, huge fan of you. I am a huge fan of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders as well, and I know you oversee that group. How will they be involved in the halftime performance tomorrow and really bringing donors in?
So they will be performing alongside Post Malone. All of them right here, right on the stage over my shoulder. We have got an incredible show planned. Post is so excited about this. He is truly excited about inspiring people to give. He really is a kind person that really wants to make a difference, and he has got a big show. The cheerleaders will be right there, right alongside him performing, and we hope that the millions of people, we expect almost 50 million people to be tuning into this game on CBS tomorrow, and we're ready to give them a show. We're ready to show them about the Salvation Army, and we're ready to inspire millions of people to give so they can help the millions of people around our communities.
And Chiefs Kingdom will definitely be tuned in. How can we help from Kansas City?
Well, one of the ways that you can help is by going to those red kettles and giving a donation, either a cash donation or you can tap or use the QR code to make a donation through the normal channels, as well as going to our website at salvationarmyusa.org. And we're so grateful to Majors Javier and Heather Montenegro, who are overseeing with their team the work going on in Kansas City, providing 684,000 meals this last year and 46,000 Christmas gifts last Christmas season. And we know that that is making a difference within your community and helping to let people know that there are people that care about them and spreading the joy of Christmas to each and every person that we touch.
And one final question for you all before I let you go. Before the Chiefs face off against the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas tomorrow on Thanksgiving, score predictions.
I'm not going to touch that one.
We're sitting in the end zone, and we'll have red kettles about 10 feet away. Every time we score, I hope a player jumps in that red kettle. And so I hope they're jumping in more for the Cowboys than they are the Chiefs tomorrow. But I understand your perspective.
Yeah, I will take it. I will take it. We are just hoping for a good game. Thank you so much for joining me, and happy Thanksgiving to all of you.
And
Happy
to
Thanksgiving.
you.
Have a good one. Good morning. Welcome back in on this Wednesday. I'm Janae Hancock here with Latrice Kabuya for Wellness Wednesday. Hello Latrice. How are you?
I just told you. I'm navigating.
Yeah.
I'm processing.
But you know what?
What?
We're going to have an attitude of gratitude.
Oh,
that is the
100%.
theme of today.
Ooh,
and I know
like
you were the perfect person to throw that out there.
Yes.
So,
yes.
especially with Thanksgiving tomorrow,
Yeah.
we do have to touch on gratitude. But I know, which is what we were discussing before you came up, is so many people, they're like, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to entertain tomorrow.
Yeah.
But it's also just having that gratitude. So, can you speak a little bit more about that?
You know what? Gratitude is such a good place to be in. No matter what you're going through, no matter what life throws at you, if you can somehow lean into that gratitude, it changes your perspective. It changes your day. It changes your mindset. And here's the thing. It doesn't minimize what you're going through. It doesn't take it away, but it allows you to lean into something that's safe, that feels good, that helps your nervous system, balance. And so gratitude is always something we want to have in our life, because no matter what we're going through, the truth of the matter is it can be worse.
Ooh.
It really can.
Yeah.
And so just leaning in and being thankful, writing a list of, because sometimes we're going through some stuff and we forget what we're thankful for, and that's okay. But I think that list, I love to do a list and say what I'm thankful for, even if it's something as simple as a cup of coffee. Right? Thankfulness is a good space to be in for your mental well-being.
And you know what? You brought something up, that things could be worse.
Yes.
And it reminded me of when I was growing up in my parents' house. We would always go around the circle with the family before we prayed for dinner, and we would always say what we were grateful for or who wasn't at the dinner. And the fact that we were going to be we're standing there in that moment. We should be grateful for that. So is it this time of year where people really need to take that moment to reflect and check in with themselves, as far as maybe make a list of what am I grateful for?
Yeah, that reflection is everything. That reflection is power, because again, it's a reminder what you're thankful for. So it takes your mind off of what you're going through, the challenges of the world, the challenges of life, and get you in the center of, but I woke up this morning. I have clothes. I have food. I have some friends. Some friends is cool, right? Sometimes that's all you need.
You don't need the rest.
But I think it is important, not just for this holiday, Thanksgiving tomorrow, every day we should have a space where we're just thankful, that we lean into gratitude. It's so important, and it's so powerful for our mental health.
And first of all, I love that you have the power, especially considering the fact that what has happened this year. So much has happened. I mean, just a few weeks ago with the government shutdown impacting millions of people. So I'm going to turn the tables a little bit, Latrice. I mean, for you, what are you grateful for as we look ahead to Thanksgiving?
So you know what, I'm gonna go. I mean, of course, I got them people calling me kids that I'm thankful for, that grandbaby, and of course my husband, who's my partner. So I'm thankful for that. But, many times when people ask me this, I throw them off because of what I'm about to say.
Oh, gosh. I'm a little nervous.
It's TV appropriate, I promise. I am thankful for my well-being, my mental health, because there was a time I wasn't good, and I know people have a hard time believing that, but I had some suicidal ideations. I had some mental challenges that I kept a secret because I was ashamed, right? I felt guilty, and to be free from that, to truly to walk in my freedom and power is a blessing. So I'm consistently thankful and reflecting how far I've come, and I'm a faith girl, so I'm just going to say I'm thankful to the Lord how far I have come, because I promise you, the things that I've gone through, some people didn't make it through successfully. And so that is always at the center. That's always in my reflection, is that I am a walking testimony because, man, I'm telling you, there was a time it didn't look good. It was bleak for me. And to be able to use my voice to share, to help people get into their wellness journey, I'm humbled. I'm very humbled.
Oh, Latrice, that is so powerful because some people didn't make it through. Some people are not able to sit here today and tell their story. And so that just spoke to me so much. And so I think it is so very important for our viewers. I'm actually going to challenge those to just go around the circle tomorrow, whoever you're with, whether it's just one other person, and just express what you are grateful for. Because I think it's one thing to think it, it's one thing to write it down, but to say it out loud and just speak on it. Elaborate on it is so very important. So
absolutely,
I love that, Latrice. I love it. So definitely, this is the season of gratitude, but it's not just this season; it's year round. And with that being said, I do want to head over to your website so that our viewers can get a better look as to the work that you do, the book that you have, and they can connect with you as well. Latrice, thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you after the holiday.
Absolutely.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another segment of Behind the Story. I'm Katie Bird, joined by KCTV5 anchor Sharon Chen. Sharon, I'm so excited to feature your story this week. Could you start just by telling me a little bit about it?
Well, I mean, this is probably one of the oldest Kansas City traditions, definitely beloved. We're talking about the Country Club Plaza lights this week because, as we know, they flip on Thanksgiving night, and this has just been a part of the culture custom here in Kansas City. So many families do this after the Thanksgiving meal, so that is what my story is, just looking into the history and how that's really been woven into Kansas City's fabric.
You know, Sharon, I feel like everyone that lives here in the metro, they can't wait for those lights to come on. I'm one of those people. I eat my Thanksgiving turkey and then I head downtown to the plaza. I love that event. And so I know you told a really cool story of a couple who's lived there for a few decades. Could you tell me a little bit more about that part?
Absolutely. So as we know, our plaza lighting ceremony, it's kind of like our Times Square, right? I mean, everybody goes down there. And, you know, this has been going on for decades and decades. Well, we're going to hit that 100-year mark this year. So I found a couple that's been doing this for 58 years. Wow. And so decade after decade, you know, this tradition, without giving away too much here, is actually what brought them here to Kansas City, and they've just continued it throughout all these years.
You know, Sharon, one of the things we were chatting about is just how unique the Plaza Lights ceremony is. You mentioned how it was one of the first in the country. Could you tell me a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. It's one of the oldest in the country as far as outdoor lighting. I think we rank right up there with Rockefeller Center. If you think back to it, you know, I said this is a 100-year-old tradition. Well, it started back in 1925. That is when the first string of lights was hung, and it's just continued on and grown since then. And as we now know, it is one of the biggest events here in Kansas City every year.
It truly is. Were there any other, you know, familiar faces in Kansas City that you spoke with about the Plaza Lights?
Familiar faces. I did speak with Historic KC to give us the history of it, and Ethan Starr kind of laid out, you know, how this all came to be and the significance of it. But I think not necessarily familiar faces, but it was really interesting to speak with the Kansas City Public Library because they have a specialized collection there just for the Plaza Lights. So it was really neat because we got to go through all the documentation from, you know, the old pictures and articles to even a song that was written in 1951 about the Plaza Lights. So just a lot of really interesting artifacts.
Sharon, I'm very curious about this song that you mentioned. Could you tell me a bit more about it?
Yeah, it was one of the first songs written about the Country Club Plaza Lights. And I mean, it's a hokey little song, but it's actually really cute. It was written by Roger Webb, and it was in the archives of the Mars Music Library at UMKC. And so we were actually able to get a digital copy of it so you can listen to it. And it was actually a cute little song, and it definitely gets you into the holiday spirit when you listen to it. And as you know, the Country Club Plaza Lights, that's kind of our kickoff for the holiday season here in Kansas City.
Sharon, for people right here in Kansas City who haven't yet heard the song, how can they do that?
Well, we have a special digital copy that we attained, and we have that available for you. You can just go listen to it at our website, kctv5.com, and just look for this story, and it'll be attached right there in the article.
And I'm also curious, you know, obviously it takes a lot of planning for such a huge event. Did you get into that part of it?
We did. So when you think about the Plaza Lights, you know, we all walk down to the Country Club Plaza, and you can see them now. You know, they are lined along every tower, window, you know, dome of the Country Club Plaza. If you think about that, how many miles of lights are we talking about? It's actually more than 80 miles of lights, hundreds of thousands of bulbs. And so this is a tremendous task, a huge task that they actually plan in August. They begin to plan in August, and then in October they start to put on those lights. So it's a huge project with a lot of planning and a lot of timing to get it all done.
Oh, for sure. And, you know, one of the things I love year after year is I'll go down to the plaza with my friends, I'll grab a hot chocolate, and we'll go to all of the stores. I'm curious, what's your favorite spot in the plaza?
In the plaza, you know what? I love it all. I really do.
Yep.
I think probably one of my more favorites is that fountain that's right in front of Charlie Hustle. For some reason, I really like that corner because I feel like you can see everything there. And it's kind of the heart of the plaza right there, right?
It really is. Yeah. Another one of my favorite stops around the holidays specifically is the Made in KC store. They have so much Chiefs, Royals, KC Current. They also have so much unique holiday gear in there. It's just truly such a special spot. And so before we actually play your segment here, Sharon, I'm curious, what would you like Kansas Cityans to know overall about this feature?
Oh, just, it is such a neat perspective to take a look back at the history of just this long time tradition and to learn about all the different things. I mean, we know the plaza lights in recent history. We know that we've seen a number of celebrities and dignitaries flip on the lights. Like lately, it's been more celebrities like Jason Sudeikis, and I think this year it's going to be members of the KC Current. But looking back, there were really some key moments about this lighting ceremony, and you're going to learn about it when you watch the story. But there's also some ones that I didn't get into, and one of them that I thought that was really interesting is that one year, the mayor of Seville, now Seville is the city that the Country Club Plaza was designed after, he actually flipped on the lights. We'll use this. Flipped on the lights from Seville, Spain. So I thought that was one of the more unique moments for sure, that the lights were turned on overseas. You don't hear about that too often. But there's also times when our history and what our city was going through had impacted this tradition. For example, we had a really bad storm one year, so they weren't able to turn on the lights right away. It was delayed. There was another year, I think it was 1970s, where Richard Nixon had wanted to conserve oil energy. He had suggested not turning on, he told everybody to conserve their energy. And so they didn't turn on the plaza lights for that year. Very unpopular with Kansas Cityans because they were like, how can you not turn on our plaza lights? But those were definitely some significant times in history.
Sharon, I absolutely love this deep dive. I'm just curious, how many people on average show out every year? Did you guys chat about that at all?
Oh my gosh, hundreds of thousands. I mean, if you, like I said, it's like our Times Square. You
really
can
is.
see the area of the plaza, and I mean, it's just shoulder to shoulder people.
It really is. Well, I'm excited to look at this feature that you have. And Sharon, again, thanks so much for sitting down on Behind the Story this week.
Sure, anytime.
Thank you.
A 250,000 people, same place, same time.
We come down here every year.
From balconies to parking garages to rooftops.
It is a sight that people wait all year for.
One of Kansas City's oldest traditions.
If she's not driving me, I'll walk.
We all have traditions to mark the holiday season. For Kansas City families, it is this moment. When Kansas City's crown jewel, the Country Club Plaza lights sparkle and shine.
Okay, so tell me what you guys see every morning.
Every October, this beloved light show starts to take shape right in front of Susie and Don Cook.
They come with their cherry pickers and they start hanging, because they start in October.
From their plaza home, they watch as crews string miles and miles of lights.
I still couldn't believe 80 miles of lights.
15 blocks. Hundreds of thousands of bulbs adorning every dome, tower, and window of the Spanish-inspired buildings.
And what's always really fun is they'll test them ahead of time early in the morning, and if we wake up early in the morning, we'll see them come on before anybody else.
A grand display with a humble beginning.
This is where it all began.
It all started by the work of a maintenance supervisor for the Nichols Company named Charles Pitrot. Pete, I'm told he went by.
That's Ethan Starr from historic Kansas City.
He decorated this building with a single strand of lights in 1925.
100 years ago this year, it all started with just a mere 16 bulbs over the door of the Mill Creek building.
That was the beginning of what we know as the Plaza Lights. By 1930, it was enough of a tradition that they had an opening ceremony celebration for turning on the lights.
These are from the 1930s.
The history of the lights preserved in a special collection at the Kansas City Library.
I imagine it was that Charles Petrat who started doing all the decorations.
Sarah Beagleson, librarian and archivist.
They had candles, they had Santa Claus, they had Christmas trees. The plaza used to have other decorations, not just the lights.
During World War II, the lights went dark, but returned soon after. By 1951, the Plaza Lights became a centerpiece of Kansas City culture.
The first televised lighting ceremony was in 1955.
They've had a lot of famous dignitaries turn on the lights.
The most famous? When President Harry Truman flipped the giant switch in 1957.
I don't know if it's like a ceremonial switch or if it actually turned on these lights. To have this image is really special.
Others include Royals Hall of Famer George Brett, Walter Cronkite, and more recently, Jason Sudeikis.
This is the big spectacle in Kansas City. To return to that each and every year is a statement of how we like to celebrate together.
For the Cooks, the celebration started 58 years ago.
Honestly, this is our favorite picture. We came to Kansas City for our honeymoon, and we had no idea about it, but we were just amazed and so fascinated with it.
A legacy of light, a cherished reminder in this ever-changing world that some things remain.
Over the years, it's just been so special.
Which brings us back to those family traditions. And this one is about much more than lights.
The friends we have, the family we have, who can come.
It's the connections they create.
The Plaza lighting ceremony kicks off Thursday night at 6:30 with live performances and music. And then right at 7:55, members of the Kansas City Current, they're going to take the stage to flip that switch. And then the lights will stay on until January 11th. I'm Sharon Chen with KCTV5 News.
it's going to be feeling cold. While we are going to be in the 40s as actual temperatures, not going to feel that way. Likely around the freezing mark for our northern zone. Feels like 32 in Cameron, 35 in St. Joseph. Around 30 degrees is what it could feel like in Maryville and Bethany. For our central zone in Kansas City, I think much of the day is spent in the mid-30s. 36 degrees is what it could feel like for the heart of the afternoon. Could feel like 32 in Marshall and 36 in Olathe and in Lee Summit as well. Down to our southern areas, the actual high will be a little bit warmer down towards our south. Therefore, those temperatures for feels like will reflect that in the upper 30s to low 40s as for feels like conditions. Could feel like 35 in Warrensburg, 37 in Harrisonville, and feels like 40 in Lacine. All I know is that we've got a very cold next couple of days in our forecast. Mike, our winter coats, they got to, be ready to use.
Yes, use for several days, Melissa. As Luke alluded to, that 59 today, which may be our high. I looked out 2 weeks. I don't see any more 50s in the forecast. So 30s and 40s, yep, this might have been the cold front that brings us back to winter full time. Here's a look at December 1st through the 5th. That's next Monday through Friday. Heading back to work, heading back to school. Temperatures are colder than average, which is 47 to 45. Let's extend it a little bit farther out, and we'll go from the 5th to the 9th. That's almost 2 weeks from now. And we can see the cold air starting to retreat just a little bit, but we're still cooler than average, which is 45 to 44. Now, I put this graph together to show you where the 30s are going to be. So this 30s, 20s, teens, you get it, you go lighter, it's in the 30s, you go to darker, it gets colder. So here we are, Tuesday, cold air rushing in. There it is. It's for there Wednesday, Thursday. Thanksgiving's going to be cold, but at least we're going to be in the 40s. And Friday and Saturday, look at this, possibly into the 40s before that next cold air comes in and brings us that chance of wintry mix to snow Saturday night, which I know Luke and Melissa will talk more about. But look at this. We're looking at highs in the 20s. Sunday and Monday, and even next week when we start to warm a little bit, it looks like we're going to be barely into the 40s. So, Brad, winter is here. It's time to put away the shorts and the short sleeves. Me, not so much, but that's my advice for everybody else.
All right, thanks, Mike.
You bet.
Coming up, stories of survival after a pair of tornadoes in Texas. We'll show you more of the damage and hear from neighbors who rode out the storm.
Now, I'll take you to a different event that happened a long time ago, almost 100 years ago. This is, I'm going to show you first our tornado count per month. And if we look at each month and how many tornadoes have tallied up, this is from in Missouri, 2006 to 2024. We can see March, April, May. Those are our big tornado months. Now, it really drops off as we go deeper into, especially the late fall and get closer to winter. In fact, November, this time of year, the second fewest number of tornadoes of any month. Only August, oddly, has fewer tornadoes in that time frame in Missouri. Now, this day in weather history, November 25 through 26, in 1926, there was a horrendous tornado outbreak. So at an odd time of year, there were a swarm of 24 tornadoes that went through the Ozarks area, portions of Missouri and also Arkansas. In fact, there were 2 F4s, one in Enders, Arkansas, Brandsville, Missouri. Those were the hardest hit towns. And this is the deadliest tornado outbreak on record for the month of November anywhere in the United States. It happened somewhat regionally. Unfortunately, 91 people lost their lives. It was a bad, bad day. Brad, back to you.
No doubt about that. Luke, thank you. Wild weather in the Houston, Texas area. Tornadoes reaching down from the sky, leaving behind significant damage. This one in Spring, Texas, snapped trees, damaged homes, sending neighbors running for safety.
We heard glass breaking, we heard trees falling, we heard a thud on the roof.
I heard like a whistle, and the wind was just so intense. I'd never heard it like that before.
This residence here has a whole garage that's been picked up and moved on top of the power lines.
The National Weather Service confirming 2 tornadoes hit yesterday. Over 100 homes were damaged.
So let's get you some awesome events going on later this week and the forecast for those awesome events. Spend the afternoon at Union Station. It looks like a great day to be out and about. It is cooler, but hey, we're dry. Temperatures will warm up to only the lower 40s into the afternoon. We also see some signs of maybe some extra cloud coverage later in the day. But again, a dry rest of your Wednesday will be in the 30s the later that you go into the evening. Cooler and dry again on Thanksgiving. but definitely a big change from what we've seen here recently. And if you come from a turkey trot family, thankfully my family is not a turkey trot family, more power to you, but my day is reserved for eating out there on Thanksgiving. But if you're trotting in the morning, we'll be in the 20s throughout 7 to 8 o'clock. I think this KC Turkey Trot starts around 9 at the Swope Park KC Zoo one. I know we have many around the area, but the Kansas City one starts around 9, 30 degrees or so. So you'll want, maybe leggings or an Under Armour long sleeve shirt underneath, base layer with your attire out there on Thursday morning. We at least should have some sun, and temperatures will warm to about 37 by 11. So it's a really chilly morning ahead on your Thanksgiving. Fun events like lighting the plaza lights, and then also the Mayor Christmas tree lighting, Comets here this weekend, Elf in concert. I'm very intrigued about that one. I'll have to dive deeper into that, and a lot of other holiday stuff coming up tomorrow in your planning calendar.
Well, we have a special segment today on the First Warn 5 Weather Show. It's time to announce our next mini meteorologist winner. This is Violet Kroc, and her dad tells us that she loves making art and reading books and playing soccer. Plus, she knows how to tap dance, and she's in ballet. And yesterday, I had the honor of showing her around the KCTV5 studio. All right, we're here with this month's mini meteorologist winner. We have Violet Kroc. Violet, how are you today?
Good.
All right, so you are how old?
6.
And that puts you in first grade?
Kindergarten.
Okay. And where do you go to kindergarten?
At Rising Star.
Rising Star. And you have some of your best friends there?
Yeah.
How many best friends do you have?
4.
I bet you have a lot of best friends. Tell me about your favorite kind of weather, because I know you said you like it sunny, but you also like what else?
The fall weather when there are leaves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the pretty leaves like we're having now. And then what else?
I also like Christmas.
Christmas. And do you like snow?
Yeah.
Do you like sledding?
Yeah.
How fast do you think that you go whenever you're sledding? Like 25 miles an hour maybe? Or maybe 10 miles an hour?
Yeah.
Maybe 10 miles an hour. All right. Well, that's great. You know what we need is a forecast for the park. Do you think that you could give us a forecast for the park? If we want to go play outside?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. All right, here we go.
Tomorrow, if you go to the park, it'll be rainy, and it'll be a little chilly at 11 and 10 a.m.
I'm just keeping the seat warm for her. Whenever she's ready.
The energy at the top of her segment, amazing.
She is so sweet and
Yeah.
so smart. Violet, it was just great to have her here.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just love the way that I'd ask her a question and she would think about it and come up and she's like, here's my answer. I've come up to a decision.
I have thought about it.
She's just amazing. So we loved having her.
I
All right,
love
one
it.
more thing. Violet loves Taylor Swift too. You
Oh
know
yeah,
that?
that is a thing for her. Who doesn't, honestly? Well, we are looking for even more mini meteorologists, so just scan this QR code on your screen to enter our contest. The next winner will be announced next month.